we have Sogea. So I can't quite remember what this case was about. I think Catherine's on, if Catherine remembers. BirdB Sogea.
Yeah, it was the construction of a bridge in Cameroon. It was a second railway and road bridge over a river, and there was tons of delay because whoever was supposed to be sorting out the way that the bridge connected to the infrastructure on either side didn't do it, I think. Was that it?
Yes, that actually is all coming back. Once you mentioned Cameroon, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically how it went. Went a delay, and everything we did was basically not in English, so I don't really know what the heck the timeline's about. So that was one of the challenges we had was one issue I had was when I put in some of this text into our timeline. If we were to click on the text, sometimes my autocorrect would just go and change a word. And I caught it doing that a couple times. But I think this whole case went relatively smooth. They had two chronologies here. And hold on, I got this little bar. Do not change password. I want task manager. Trust me. There we go. And we'll restart that, and that gets rid of your little bar down here in mode. Fun fact. So this is the timeline, fairly straightforward. I'll show the delay in a second, but this is just one of the PowerPoint timelines we did. So this probably wouldn't be a bad one to show as an example of PowerPoint timelines, or even just putting a snip of it and putting it in our statements of work. I think Jeff already did this timeline. I quite like it. And here they had toggleable groups in PowerPoint as well, which is doable, but of course it takes a little more money. Oh no, maybe this went to documents. I apologize. What are these even? Oh yeah, these do go to documents. Yeah, so only had a handful of documents, which was all good fun. I think these can all be clickable. Yes, they can. Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So basically we can fake Chronos and PowerPoint to a degree. We obviously can't zoom in and zoom out and click and drag, but you know, just an example of PowerPoint. But yes, we can at least slide with a couple animation cheeky tricks that we do. So I'll go back.
How many flags do you remember were in this?
That is a very good question.
Maybe like 20 something, 20. It wasn't many, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't many, but cost-wise, I think we had some budget issues, didn't we? Where they almost just should have done Chronos.
Well, they wanted us to do it for like 2,000 or something, and I think in the end we did the whole lot for not much more than 6.
Yeah.
Including the thing that you're about to show, the delay timeline. So I just think it's a really nice looking little PowerPoint timeline that's got a nice slide effect and it's got some click throughs. So it's like, you know, when people say, oh, well, if we're not going to have Chronos, what's it going to look like? This is, I think, a good example that we can show now.
Yeah, the advantage of being able to show one flag at a time and make it additive is something you can't do in Chronos.
Unless we do it like we did for Agricole, which was awful.
Yes, yeah, that's then it's really costly.
And Catherine, I'm working on that, so we'll get Agricole cleaned up. So I'll hopefully have it by early next week.
Thanks.
And one thing to remember about doing the PowerPoint timeline like this is that we can break it down into individual slides if they're using Trial Director. If they're using Trial Director and want to present everything as images, then this often works. So in other words, the client has in Trial Director, they have all the PowerPoint slides, which is one flag coming on at a time. And then between each of those flags coming on at a time, then Trial Director can insert the documents and document highlights as the team wants to call them out.
And at some point we did have a template in here, but then they ended up not liking it, so we just yanked it out. So I think preview is planned. My French is non-existent. But they broke it up into a bunch of things. They had access issues, which was the conflict with the other contractor or the plan to get everything set up, like the roads and make sure everything is good. And they had some delay foundations, which then started causing some more delays. And then the next step properly happened, another delay. And then they had whatever, when they speed something up on a plan.
Acceleration.
Acceleration, thank you, Al. Another delay, more delays. So it's just kind of a cutesy little animated timeline. I think it worked very well. I think Jeff Flaherty did this one as well. And there you have it. So very busy delay. It's one of the ones where we didn't quite show the full as planned first. We only showed it together, which we will typically introduce as planned first. That way everyone knows what should have happened. And then you follow it by adding in the delays. But this is kind of a quicker way of showing it and a cheaper way of doing it. All right, and then I don't know if you want to move on to other people, then I can go back and do RB SME Steel later. I know we're trying to show a lot of cases today.
While you're at it, why don't you just do SME?